Rent free. Rent free. Rent free. Lives in your head rent free. Rent free. Rent free. Rent free. Lives in your head
And
rent free.
action. What's up, everybody? This is your boy, Tech Supreme. You are now listening to Rent Free with Tech Supreme, episode 13, first week of autumn. I started to say August. Autumn. First week of fall for the normal person. Autumn if you're fancy. And it's been an interesting week. A lot of things going on in the news. A lot of things going on in my personal life. And let's hop into a few things that have been kind of living in my head rent free. If you didn't know, that's why it's called Rent Free with Tech Supreme. These are things that are living inside of my head. I do want to say a special thank you to everyone who has been listening to the podcast. We have a bunch of faithful listeners, and I think it's absolutely awesome. I am glad you guys are listening and giving me feedback. Also, if you want to give me more feedback or suggest topics, feel free to hit me up. You can email me at techproductions@gmail.com. And you can find me on social media. If you follow me on any social media, feel free to message me or respond to a post about the podcast. You know, I love conversing, and I'm an open book. So, and I also love hearing topics that people submit. Some people submitted some topics for this episode. I'm not sure if we're going to get into all of it, but let's give it a go. So first topic up, I wanted to I think the format going forward is I'm going to talk about my journey that I'm currently on, my mental and physical journey that I'm on. I love 2021 for the simple fact that people talk about their mental health. As a 80s baby growing up, you know, we were raised not to. Men kind of don't talk about their emotions. Yesterday I was watching a podcast called I Am Athlete, which I'm a big fan of. It's Brandon Marshall's podcast, but he basically has on his show, he has a bunch of NFL stars coming in, and it's kind of like therapy. There's Fred Taylor, there's Ucho Cinco, there's Brandon Marshall, and I forget the other people's names, but they're super awesome, entertaining, fun to watch. But they talk about mental health a lot, and I think as a black man, you know, something that we need to tackle. And I think a lot of people who are older, or at least around my age, we're kind of learning how to deal and navigate with that. With the younger generation, they're definitely like full steam ahead talking about mental health and how they feel on the inside. I think it's absolutely awesome. So I was watching I Am Athlete podcast yesterday, and they have a new LA version, and Nick Young, it's Brandon Jennings, which is a basketball player, Nick Young, Michael Bennett, which is a defensive end who won the Super Bowl with the Seahawks, and a couple other people who I'm not familiar with who are in the NFL, and they're talking about personal things, kind of like a self-therapy podcast almost, about being an athlete and stuff like that, and they were talking about crying. And I'm from the school where men didn't cry. Like, that's just what it is. And I think through the years, I've become callous to it. Like, it's very hard for me to shed tears. But I've also from the school of thought that it's absolutely normal for men to cry. Now, you shouldn't be crying every single day, but it's okay to show emotions. So as I get older and I'm navigating this world that I'm in now, I kind of realize the importance of emotions and actually being emotional. It's healthy. You know, it's perfectly fine. So I'm enjoying like seeing the world through that lens now, and where it's a lot more sensitive to people's feelings and emotions, and I respect it, and I'm here for it. And also being more in tune with myself and how I feel and my thoughts and the directions that I go and the voices. This ties into my health journey. When I lost a lot of weight when I turned from 29 to 30, or 30 to 31. I lost a lot of weight, and I realized that I had a black cloud over me that was basically directing my thoughts subconsciously, right? Like, and then when I lost the weight, I realized like that was why my mood was negative. Because in my 20s, I was a pretty hard person to get along with, I feel, especially like doing the music thing, and I definitely was a difficult person, and I know I have memories, and I know how I came across like an asshole, and I think it had a lot to do with that. Now, obviously, like losing weight is not going to solve all your mental health problems. I've gained not all the weight back, but a lot of the weight back, and that's what sparks this, you know, going into my 40s journey, which I'm very happy about, by the way. I'll get to that in a second, but like you have to be able to reflect. You have to be able to look inside and see where your thoughts are coming from, where they're manifesting, why you're having these thoughts, why you feeling this way, and talk to people about it. Like either get a therapist or someone you can confide in. So whatever thoughts you're having, you're not alone. And that's what's the biggest change in 2021 through the years that have gotten to this point where like people are okay with therapy and talking. And it was a thing that Black people just refused to go to therapist. Because I don't know about any other community, but I just know about my community. But you know, like I know, like my friend Ben, who's, you know, he used to always say like if you're over 30, you need a therapist, and I kind of feel that now more than ever. That, you know, most people do. So a lot of things. I don't like it when people are writing off things to mental health, but like I want to know, like I need to know why. You know what I'm saying? Like I need to know like more of a detailed look into why people are feeling the way they are feeling. I think that's more of a better approach than to just like, oh well, I mental health issues, which, you know, like it is what it is. But as far as the health journey is concerned, I am 16 days with no alcohol, 16 days with no diet sodas or Coke Zeros and shit like that. My body has 100% done a 180 already. Like I already feel a huge difference. Overall, I've lost about 24 pounds since spring. Where that was basically giving a concerted effort to lose weight, but not really being dedicated to it, and still trying to figure out how can I lose weight and still enjoy the things that I enjoy. Which you still can, but I got to a point where I was still drinking, and it's not a lot. Like, wasn't drinking a lot, but enough to fuck with your body. And so yeah, once I got past that hurdle, because it's a hurdle, you know, like it's summertime, you want to have fun, you want to kick it, you want to throw beers back, throw whiskeys back. I'm looking right behind the camera, I have a full bar, you know what I'm saying, with handles of JMO, handles of Sailor Jerry, Buffalo, you know what I'm saying, I got all this shit. But like, so I was, you know, just basically enjoying myself. But, you know, honestly, after giving up alcohol, I've had more fun weekends than before. You know, like I'm enjoying watching the scale go down every day. I'm enjoying working out now a lot more because now I'm not fighting an uphill battle with my diet and with my drinking. So the health, it's super, I don't know how to explain it. It's just one of those things too, like if you just work out daily, even if you don't have like the body composition that you want, if you just work out daily, your self-esteem and the way you feel about yourself is going to rise, right? Like that's just what it is. Like you can go for a walk, a jog, or go lift weights, or go do any activity, you're going to feel better afterwards. But now with actually giving a fuck about what I put into my body and focusing on my macros and my protein, now I feel completely like I'm building something. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm actually like working towards this goal, and it's very rewarding. Absolutely rewarding. 10 out of 10 would suggest. So getting your health in order. And also I just saw a Facebook status from someone who my Facebook is weird. I don't know half the people on there. I got like 4,900 friends, like 4,950, something like that. And I only know like 1,000 people. Like one day years ago, I went through and actually fucking counted. So there's people on there I don't know all the time, but I just saw this post that said like it was a picture of her blood pressure, this lady's blood pressure, and it was 200 over 112 or 200 over 121, and she was like, "Man, my head won't stop hurting, I'm in a lot of pain." And all the comments was like, you need to go to the ER, like you're gonna have an issue." And then I looked at her page and went down one post, and it was like a day ago, I was like, my head hurts and my chest keeps hurting. Like, yo, she's finna like stroke out. And I'm seeing it, like, it's kind of like everyone's seeing it in like real time. The comments were like, go to the ER. And she's like, well, who's gonna watch my mom? Like, nobody if you die, is what someone said. Like, no one if you have a stroke. No one's watching your mom if you have a stroke. You need to go to the ER. And a lot of comments were stop drinking. Like, whatever you're doing, like, stop smoking cigarettes, stop drinking. You need to get healthy. Like, you got to be cognizant of what you put in your body, because like now we're at the age as we all get older where people are dropping out. Like people are like for real dropping out. I watched this YouTuber, Cali Muscle, and he says all the time, he's probably 47, 48. He's like, man, I've lost 10 people this year. Like I'm losing people left and right. Like, you really have to care about what you put in your body. The food and stuff that were served and the drinks that were served by the country, by the FDA, it's not all good. It's not geared to keep you healthy. You have to make the choice to be healthy yourself. Now, I don't want to be preachy or anything like that, because I just got back on my journey, so we're not going to do that. Do you live your life? But for me, I gotta watch what I gotta watch what I eat. I made a dedication when I turned 30 to be into fitness and to lose weight, and I have not faltered from lifting weights, and I've not. The only time I did falter was during COVID when gyms were shut down and I didn't have a gym. But now that I have my own garage gym, I haven't, I don't have no plans of stopping, basically. And I haven't stopped except for the pandemic, and we're all talking in circles, but you see what I'm saying. So physical health is super important. So is mental health. Moving on to the next topic, mental health has been the center of the Gabby Petito, missing persons case. We talked about it last week, I believe. Was it last week? It might not have been last week, but everyone pretty much knows the case. They found her body, she's gone, and the boyfriend's missing, and the fiance is missing, should I say, which obviously he's missing on purpose. Either he offed himself or he's hiding in the fucking woods somewhere. He definitely told his parents that he's going one place. I doubt that he went to that one place. My wife was like, there's no way that he's dumb enough to say that I'm going to this place. And, they're obviously corroborating with him. That's their son. He obviously has something to do with her murder. That was apparent since the fucking first glint of this news hit the mainstream. Like, he drove to Florida 2 weeks after she was missing, basically, and just didn't say anything. So he definitely is guilty as shit, and he knows it. I think he's gonna take the coward way out and kill himself. That's what cowards do. If you bring harm to a woman, you're a coward. If you bring harm to your fiance, you're a super fucking coward. So there's not going to be any dignity here. I don't think we're going to find him alive. That's just my prediction. Let me know what you think is going to happen. I'm pretty sure he's going to off himself if he hasn't already. But it brought up a different case altogether, a different story altogether, is the America's infatuation with missing white women. And Patrice O'Neal, rest in peace, is a brilliant comedian, and he had a skit on Elephant in the Room, I believe is the name of the comedy special, where he talked about missing white women and how the world attaches themselves to missing white women. And he talked about Natalie Holloway, who was killed in Aruba. Everyone knew that, but the serial killer actually killed other women in different countries of other, not minorities, but non-white. And no one in the audience knew who they were. And that was his point, right? He said if he ever goes missing, he's gonna tether a white baby to his hip so they can find him. It's hilarious. Patrice O'Neal was a genius. I was happy enough to I'm off topic, but I was happy enough to enjoy his comedy while he was alive. But I call it the Natalie Holloway effect, where America is definitely more concerned about missing white women than anyone else. In December, I just read this little stat line. By December 2020, the FBI had over 89,000 active missing person cases. Active, 2020, December. And 45% of those cases were people of color. Now, that lets you know that it's a pick and choose situation with the media. You can go missing, and if you're not that right type, they don't give a shit. Jelani Day is the prime example of that. He's been missing for a few weeks. He was going to school, I believe, in Normal, Illinois, so actually not extremely far from here. And he's been missing, and there's not a peep about it. People trying to raise concerns about it. There's tons of people missing. And if everyone gave that same attention to every person missing, I think we'd be better as a society about stopping and deterring these type of situations from happening, even though it's nearly impossible. But there was a RDC World, which is a collective of black content creators, skit makers. They're hilarious. They had a skit. One of the first skits I saw of them was the main guy was playing video games, and he got an Amber Alert, and the caption was, "This is how everyone should react." And he got an Amber Alert on his phone, So he throws his controller down, runs outside, and he runs outside out the door, and everyone else in the neighborhood is running outside the door, and they're looking for this car. Like, they're running around looking for the car. And then, like, they're driving around looking for the car that they see. They find it. One person runs and grabs the kid out of the car. Other people jump the guy who kidnapped the kid. And, like, that's honestly should be the reaction for everybody. Like, if someone goes missing, it needs to be a community, city effort. Right, we all, like, there's nowhere to hide in the city if everyone's looking for someone. You know, like, if everyone is, like, equipped. How many times people ignore Amber Alerts? And I know I'm on a rant, but that's some real shit. Like, it needs to be fair. It needs to be universal. You know, like, it needs to, like, I can't explain America's infatuation with it. I can't explain why, or, like, well, I can't explain why, but, like, there's no way. I don't know if there's a way to beat that, right? Like, how do you? But as a community, we need to come together and try to focus on people who are missing in general, and not just certain types that fit a story or headline. It's weird. But rest in peace to Gabby Petito, because no one deserves to go out that way. The police were called close to the time that she became missing for a domestic dispute, and they ruled it off as a mental health issue, which to me is like, I don't know. Like, you get reports that he's slapping her or she's slapping him, or both reports. How about just, like, saying mental health issues and going like this and wiping your hands of it is not kind of good enough? Like, if they took it seriously, she may still be alive, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. On to some lighter news. I think for the rest of the podcast is going to be lighter news. Apex Legends, it's a video game that I love. Everyone who knows me knows that I love Apex Legends. I play it since the day it came out, nearly daily. I have a few thousand hours in it. I'm not the greatest Apex Legends player. I'm not the worst. I can hold my own. It's a good time. They pushed the update last week that basically destroyed the game. The game is literally in a state of being destroyed. Like, I'm always the type of person who wants to see the positive in things, and I don't like when people get online and, like, they slam developers, and they slam, like, fix your servers type posts. I've always been, like, on the side of the developer, because it's a tough job, right? It's a tough, like, you can play test a game or update amongst, you know, your small base, but once you have, like, hundreds of thousands of people logging at the same time, you'll never be able to simulate that, right? But I've never seen a AAA game, that with this much problems after 2 years of being out. Like, I played this morning. The game it's hard to finish. Like, between people being disconnected and the servers, it's a nightmare. I don't think I've ever seen a nightmare that bad for a game. And like I said, I love Apex Legends. Like, it is what it is. Like, that's just, that's my favorite video game in the last decade, hands down. But it's crazy that your game infrastructure can just crumble that fast. Well, it's not even fast really, but just in general. But it is what it is. Hopefully they get it fixed. And they pushed the update yesterday, and it broke it even more. So it's a mess. Apex Legends is a mess right now. Speaking of video games, today is a big thing for Xbox and PS5 consoles. They're back in stock. Physical stock, which is the first time it happened all year. It's September, the end of September, and this is the first time they actually had physical consoles for sale at retailers. They're obviously going to go fast, so the likelihood of someone getting one right now is probably really impossible. People were lining up last night at Best Buys. There's been news on the news and shit like that. I was lucky enough, shout out to Caleb for giving me the heads up. Me and him, on the day that they did the pre-orders, we went to GameStop in St. Louis, and we camped. The first time I camped for anything, got there like 5:30, camped until it opened, got a pre-order. So I was able to get an Xbox the first day. The first day it came on sale, I went and picked mine up, which was an amazing Christmas gift from my wife, birthday gift. That was early. But I just don't understand the restock issues, right? Like, it's clear that they're doing this on purpose, and it's something that's happening with sneakers, I believe clothes, I'm not sure, but definitely with video game consoles, where they're like curtailing the stock just so they can create a demand, and then like couple that with bots who are buying everything the minute it comes online, it's becoming impossible to buy shit. And like I've been alive since Atari, And so I know how every console rollout was, and it was cool. It was like that, the beginning of every console, right? But it only lasted like a month or two, maybe 3, the most 6. But now it's like it's a year. This is the year that it's been these consoles out. It's been a year, and we're just now getting a restock. It's crazy to me to think. You should be able to go into a store and get one by now, but I don't know if it's greed. I don't know if it's a combination. I don't know if it's supplies. I don't think it's supplies because they don't talk about the supply chain. They don't talk about the missing processors because I know in the car industry there's a problem with processors. These conversations aren't happening. It's just that the bots, they keep blaming it on bots, but I just think they're just doing it for demand. I can't explain it, but I think it's super whack. This is probably the wackest console release I've ever seen in my life. So if you got one, congratulations. If you didn't, don't worry about it. I know a lot of people who haven't, and just hold off and wait until you can. Honestly, someone who has both, there's a slight difference. I guess it sucks that they're making games that are exclusive to the new consoles, but it's not that big of a deal. You're not missing out on terrible too much yet. So moving on, fall predictions. I don't even know what I'm gonna talk about in fall predictions. I love fall. It is it's probably my favorite season. It's just because you're coming off of the heat and you're getting ready for the cold, so you do have to mentally prepare. I like the gradual change. Most years in St. Louis, sometimes it's like super fast. I do like the gradual change. I love bonfires. I love Halloween. So fall is my shit. Thanksgiving, of course. I'm excited about the change in weather. I'm excited about 70 degrees, 60 degree days. Obviously, I'm not looking forward to the winter, but I kind of am because I'm from New Jersey and St. Louis, so I'm accustomed to winters. I do love winter. Obviously, not as much as fall. But I'm looking forward to bonfires. I'm looking forward to pumpkin flavor shit, even though I'm on this diet and not drinking. But I just love fall. The trees, the landscape becomes the most beautiful to me with fall. Just the energy about it. Of course, Halloween. Like my month of October is already Halloweened out. Like honestly, if not sooner, as soon as it turns October 1st, I'm putting Halloween decorations out. I need to get my Halloween costume together. I need to order my special sclera contacts. If you don't know what that is, that's the all black contact. Can't wait for that. Big fall guy. So yeah, that's fall. That's my prediction. The prediction is this is going to be an amazing fall. Hopefully everything remains calm in the news world and in the world, but fall is my favorite season. Tell me in the comments what's your favorite season. Now, Big Brother. I don't watch Big Brother. I don't watch it at all, but I was intrigued by this because this season of Big Brother is going to be the first time that a person of color, an African-American person, is going to win Big Brother. Now, there's probably 6 or 5 contestants left. How do I know that a person's going to win that's African-American? Because of the Cookout. Now, you all know with these type of games, there's alliances. They formed an alliance this season. All the black people formed an alliance that basically said we're going to get everyone out that's not black. Now, people are calling racist. It's not racist. It's strategy. They've been on this show for like 20 plus seasons, and no black people have won. So that sounds like either that's a strategy or a really weird coincidence. But they decided to vote out everyone who wasn't black, and now the remaining people are African American. Shout them out. Shout out the Cookout. I love it. Like it is what it is. I don't watch Big Brother. I think I had a season or 2 where I used to watch it, but it didn't. It's not my particularly favorite thing. But shout out to the Cookout. That shit's amazing, and I just love to see it. And I'll maybe check in to see who won it. But I just think it's absolutely amazing. Speaking of trash TV, 90 Day Fiancé has been my new addiction. I can't stop looking at 90 Day Fiancé. I'm currently watching 90 Day Fiancé the other way, in which they're going from America to whatever country their love is, and the complications that come from that. So basically, it's a show about. This one feels like it's a show about like working out the complications of picking up and moving to another country. Obviously, some of these people are just plain idiots, but that's kind of like 90 Day Fiancé. I thought it was like we're gonna test this out on some wife swap shit. You know what I'm saying? Like how like wife swap's kind of temporary, and I thought 90 Day Fiancé was kind of like, oh, we're just gonna see if this thing's a thing, right? Like, can they get along? But no, it's actually people who think they're falling in love with someone, and they're gonna rush into marriage. So me and my wife started watching 90 Day Fiancé, the one with Big Ed, or Before the 90 Day, it's called, and just absolutely fucking love that season. It is super entertaining. Big Ed is an absolute disgusting mess of a human being on the inside, and yeah, like the Russian Varya case, the guy who went to Ukraine for the girl Lana. It's super entertaining, and I think everyone needs a little bit of trash TV in their life. That's mine right now. I'm super excited. On the new season, there's this guy in Ethiopia, who met a girl there. She ended up getting pregnant, and for some reason, they have a baby. For some reason, she invited her ex-husband to come stay with them for a little while, and that shit's a disaster. And she is a queen manipulator, and I'm glued to the TV. You know, like this. I got the Discovery Plus app, so that's the reason why I'm even watching these shows. But I'm glued to see what happens next. It's super entertaining. So if you haven't watched 90 Day Fiancé, you should. It's trash, but it's fucking great. Last thing I'm gonna talk about is just taking care of yourself, which is something I think that's the name of this episode is gonna be. Just taking care of yourself. Give me a sec. Let me get my timer back up. You know, you gotta take care of your mental health. You gotta take care of your physical health. You gotta just make sure that you're making yourself a priority, because as far as we know, something that my friend Tef used to say, we don't know about the party on the other side. No one's come back from that party. So you gotta take care of yourself. Make sure you're living your best life. Make sure that you're being as positive as possible. And you need to check all your negative thoughts. Like if you have negative thoughts about something, you need to check it and see why you're having these thoughts. Where do they come from? And you know, and talk to someone. I think that's the episode. We've hit the 20-ish minute mark. Thank you for listening to Rent Free with Tech Supreme. I do appreciate the likes, comments, and subscribe. If you're new to the podcast, then just follow up, hit one of those buttons, interact. I do appreciate all of it. Thank you for listening to Rent Free with Tech Supreme, episode 13. I will see you guys on the next one. Take care of yourself. Peace and good night.
Rent free. Rent free. Lives in your head rent free. Rent free. Rent free. Rent free. Lives in your head rent free.